Hello, my name is Sebbi, and welcome back to the coffee break in Minecraft. Today is Wednesday, June 8th, 2016. I'm still on my journey back home, and so I can reclaim all my items again. And yeah, let's continue to walk towards east, and I really hope I can reach my home area sooner than later, because I'm really eager to continue with my building projects. So, last Sunday was the start of the second season of the Conelanders Assetto Cursor League, and I was so much looking forward to continue racing in Assetto Cursor and to continue competing with all those amazing other people, and then I had to retire from the first race. I'm still really angry about it, and now I just like to explain what my reasons were to retire from this race and what happened in the first race, and yeah, just to explain a little bit why there will be no Conelanders Assetto Cursor video this week. So, at first, let me emphasize that the Conelanders Assetto Cursor League is still in its early stages, and so we are still in the process of figuring out how we can organize the Conelanders Assetto Cursor League at best, and how the rules will be, and so this season, the second season, we are trying a different format, and this is due to the fact that there are more drivers interested in participating in the Conelanders League than there are slots available on our server, and so we are now trying a heat format. So there will be 2 heat races, and each driver has to qualify for the endurance race by competing in one of the 2 heat races, and if the driver finishes 9th or better, then the driver is qualified for the endurance race, and if not, then yeah, that's the end of the day. And so if you want to enter the endurance race, you have obviously to finish 9th or better. And yeah, I think that's interesting. The only sad thing is that those drivers who can't finish 9th or better have no second video and have no endurance race, and I think especially the endurance race is pretty cool, as you have pit stops and everything is a little bit more exciting. And so yeah, I think this is the main disadvantage. It would be really cool to maybe have a second league or a group B or something along those lines, that all the drivers get a second race, and maybe at the end of a season you can get, well, move up to the Battle League or so, and others in the Battle League that haven't performed so well will move down into the second league. And I think this would be a much more appropriate approach to give everyone the chance to compete in both races and to just have fun. But yeah, that's beside the point. As I said, we are still in the early stages, we are still trying to figure things out, and so everything's fine, and I'm completely fine with the approach or this format for this season, that we just see if this works or if we have to improve things. And yeah, so my upcoming rant should be not seen as a criticism in the current format, but the current format has a little bit cursed the reason why I retired from my first race. So if you have watched the races of my of the first Conelanders Assetto Cursor League, then you already know that I wasn't that happy with my performance, and this was due to the fact that I constantly made mistakes, and it wasn't me who was driving basically. So normally I have a way more consistent performance, and I had no idea what was going on, so I was pretty frustrated. And the only race where I was more or less happy with my performance was the sprint race at Nürburgring. This was quite okay, but all the other races weren't that great, and so I was really disappointed, and I was questioning myself, should I really continue with this, or should I just leave the Conelanders Assetto Cursor League? But as we reached the end of the first season, and I thought, okay, now the second season is coming up, and basically it's a completely new start, so let's leave all that frustration behind and let's have some fun again. And so I was really looking forward to the next race, And, well, obviously I haven't had much time to practice, but I had some good results in my practice runs, and I even found out that my best practice times were the same time, or were at the same level as the times of the best drivers in my heat. So yeah, I think they were even a little bit better than the qualifying time for the pole position also. And so I was really happy, and this really gave me a moral boost, and it was also my best qualifying in the whole Conelanders Etc. Cursor League so far. So I was really happy, and I was so much looking forward to the race. And then the race began, and it was me again. I felt so good. I was able to make jokes again in my commentary, and I really enjoyed it. It was so much fun. It was really like in my good old Assetto Cursor days, and so I was really happy. Unfortunately, this is a nice drop. This is really a nice drop down. Unfortunately, this lasted only for the first lap, because in the second lap I was in an interesting fight with Georgian, and it was pretty cool. And we made it through the first chicane, and then, oh, by the way, we raced at Monza, so at the current Monza, so the modern Monza, not the old Monza. And so you have at first, after the long straight, the first chicane, then you have another long straight, and then you enter a second chicane, which is a little bit wider. But the second chicane has really some very, very high curbs, and during my practice runs I of course had some contact with those curbs, and well, of course they caused some bad lap times when I hit them, because I was much slower, but they never really caused severe issues. So I never really saw them as a real threat, and so I was quite okay. And as I said, I was in a good fight with Georgian, and I had a lot of fun. And over there's another jungle. What is going on? I'm still walking towards my home area, and now I find another jungle. Why haven't I found this jungle as I was on my way out to my first jungle? That's not fair. But okay, that's beside the point. And so I was in a good fight, and then we approached the second chicane, and well, as you do, you brake late, and I broke late, and I hit that stupid curb in a weird angle. I don't think that the angle was weirder than the angles I had during my practice sessions, but the results were completely different. So instead of just losing some time, or just being a little bit slower, this contact with this curb resulted in my left rear tire touching the gravel on the outside of the track, and this resulted in me spinning out. And by the way, at this point I think I was in 5th or 4th, so I was pretty good. I was really happy with my position, so it was not that I was just driving in 10th or so. No, I was really happy with my position, and my qualifying, or my grid position was 6th, I guess. So I qualified 6th, which was really amazing, and I was really happy about this. And okay, so I broke late, and I hit that curb in a weird angle. And for the very first time, although I practiced the Monza racetrack quite a while on Sunday before the race, it was the very first time that I spun out in this turn. And so, of course, I lost a few positions, because it was just lap 2, and so the field was still quite close together. And as I wanted to return the racetrack, I was hit by another car, was spun out again, and lost even more spots. And then I dropped down to, I think, 12th or so. So I was out of the range for being qualified for the endurance race. And after this happened, all this frustration from the first season came back. I was so disappointed, I was so mad, I was so angry. I wasn't angry at the fight, I wasn't angry at Georgian, I wasn't angry at the car that hit me. I was just so disappointed of myself that I once again made a mistake, and that not only I made a mistake, that this mistake had this severe outcome of losing. Well, as I said, I was fourth or so. Okay, let's assume I was fourth, and then I was 12, so I lost 8 positions just because of this stupid incident. And so I was so frustrated, I was so angry, I was so disappointed, and this led to the fact that I even made more mistakes in the next few laps, and it was no fun anymore. I was so frustrated, I was so annoyed by myself, and yeah, I had absolutely no fun in driving, and yeah, constantly spinning out because you're no longer focused on the race. And well, all the frustration, as I said, that I had or that accumulated in the first season just came back, and this was an awful feeling. And yeah, at this point you might say, okay, we do have still the point system, and we have the championship going on, so even a few points can be important for your well, final standing in the championship. But the main problem is at this point that we do have, I think, only 4 races in the second season, and so there will be not the chance of dropping the worst race or so, or dropping one of the 4 race weekends. So in case maybe you don't have time for a race weekend and so you miss it, so that you still are, well, you still can continue or you're still competitive. No, all the 4 races will count, and yeah, as I will miss next race, so I will miss Sunday, because Sunday is the Formula 1 Grand Prix in Canada, and there was an Enderman, or there is still an Enderman, and as I'm a huge fan of the Formula 1... Oh, hi. Ow. Where's my shield? There, ow. Okay. And as I'm a huge Formula 1 fan, I obviously like to watch that race, especially after, well, being so frustrated with Assetto Corsa lately. I don't want to enter a next race and add some more frustration to the already existing frustration level. And so yeah, I won't be available for the next race, and so I won't make any points, and so at this point I will be out of the competition completely. And it's completely independent if I would make some points, or it's, well, making points in this first race would have made no difference in the long run, because by missing one of the race weeks or race weekends, okay, now I do have a lily pad. Fantastic, now I do have 2 lily pads. Yeah, by missing out one race, I will lose so much points that I will be in a bad position for the whole championship anyway. And this also led to this also contributed to the fact that I thought, okay, there is no point of continuing this race. I'm out of the position to be qualified for the endurance race, and this means I have to end this race weekend anyways after this race, and I'm already frustrated and disappointed, and so it makes no fun, and it would be absolutely stupid to just force me continuing to drive and to maybe even increase my frustration level, because I spin out even more as I no longer focus on my race, as I'm just mad at myself. And yeah, all in all, this led to the fact that, okay, it makes no fun. It's absolutely pointless to continue this race. I will just retire from it. And yeah, I'm really sorry for all those who participated in the second heat and who were racing with me. And I'm really sorry. I mean, I'm quite sure you haven't really noticed it. And you all, well, everyone gained a position as I spun out and dropped down, and I decided to retire from the race. So I think you're quite okay with this, but I'm still sad, because this thing is about content creation, this thing is about having fun, and at this point I just had no fun anymore. And I'm completely fine if I'm not fast enough. Others are fast to overtake me. But when I make mistakes, and the mistakes are just my very own, and this happens constantly, and yeah, I don't know. I have no idea how I can really get out of this, because having one bad race would be fine, but now after having 4 bad races, and now even after having retired because it was absolutely pointless to continue on, yeah, I don't know. If I really hope that I can have a good race soon, because when you constantly have bad outcomes, yeah, I'm really at the point that I start to think, should I really continue doing this? Because in the end, yeah, just it's more and more frustration, and I'm more and more disappointed. And when I already start disappointed and not happy about what I'm doing here, why should I then participate in this? And yeah, as you can hear, I'm still disappointed. I'm still and I think this forest is in a bad situation and in a bad mood as well. Yeah, I'm. Oh dear, murder. Yeah, I don't know. As you hear, I'm not quite sure how I should get out of this bad situation, because it's more or less of a vicious circle. I constantly have more pressure. I constantly have more the feeling I finally have to perform well. I finally have to have a good race, and this increases the pressure on me, and then with more pressure you're more likely to make mistakes, and if you make a mistake and you're already in this bad mood, then you take things more seriously. And yeah, I don't know how I can get out of this bad situation, and how I can get out of this whole thing. And yeah, I really hope the next race I will participate in will be better, and I will be finally happy with my result and with my performance. Because yeah, as I spun out and I was hit again by the car, and this was just so much bad luck, basically. I mean, I hit that stupid curb so many times in the practice run, and I never spun out. And in the race, I of course have to spin out. And yeah, all this frustration, disappointment boiled up, and yeah, I don't know. It's yeah. So to make a long story short, I then just said, okay, there's no point of continuing with this. It will just make things worse if I try to stay on the track, and I'm so angry, and so I will quit the race. And yeah, this is my reason behind all of this. This is the reason why there will be no race this weekend on my YouTube channel. I'm really sorry. I like to apologize. Well, I'm not quite sure if you really noticed this, but I like to apologize to anyone who was involved in the Heat 2 of the Monza race weekend. I'm really sorry that, well, I feel that I let you down, and this also contributes to my whole disappointment that I might have ruined someone's race, someone's live coverage or so. And yeah, so apology to all of you, and I hope next race I will be in will be better. But yeah, that's my reason why there will be no video up this weekend, and I hope you can understand this, and I really hope there will be, or soon I will be out of this bad vicious circle, that I can finally be happy again, that I can enjoy the Conelanders League. Because when you're not happy with your own performance, then there's no fun in all of this. And as the Conelanders League is about fun, it's yeah, a little bit a weird situation. So yeah, let's come to an end with this, and let's move to more happy topics, like a question from Weekend Game. What do you see as the most important innovation of the last 10 years? Most important innovation. 10 years ago we already had the internet, but I think the internet is really one of the most innovations for our current time. And I would say 10 years ago there was not so much there was internet around, but it wasn't everywhere basically. So many had an internet access at their homes. I'm not quite sure how this was, how the situation was in different regions or different countries, especially in the US. Maybe you had different internet coverage than we had here in Germany, but yeah, so 10 years ago, internet became or started to get popular, but not everyone had an internet access, and some had, well, DSL, some just had their very slow modems. Or were modems still around 10 years ago? Oh, wow. We move so fast with our time. Time flies when you're having fun, and we mostly have fun here on the coffee break, and so I'm not quite sure where modems still around, but yeah, the internet wasn't everywhere 10 years ago, and by now we do have smartphones, we have mobile internet, and yeah, I think this is probably one of the most important innovation of the 10 last years. I mean, the whole, well, for instance, flight and aviation and so on hasn't really changed over the last 10 years. We are still sitting in a tube, and we are still flying around, and instead of that things getting better, things are getting even worse, because the seats it's getting more and more about fitting more people into an airplane. So if you're a tall person like I am, and you're sitting in a normal flight or a normal airplane, then your knees will hit the seat in front of you, and this might be okay for an hour-long flight, but for instance, as we flew to Iceland, 3.5 hours being squeezed in between between your chair and the chair and the seat in front of you is not fun. And I was so happy as I was finally able to stretch my legs again. And yeah, I think the flight situation gets even worse. So there's no innovation in this branch. And well, of course, green energy is probably a very important thing, and especially as you might know by now, more or less an environmentalist, or at least I try to be one. I'm quite sure I contribute to the emissions enough by often driving with my car. Well, not that frequently, but when I have to, well, there are situations where I just have to drive with my car, and maybe I do other things where I in my spare time or as a hobby, where I have or cause some emissions. So yeah, I'm not completely a green person, but I try to be as green as possible, and to be as to care as much as possible about the environment. But yeah, so green energy is an important thing. And but yeah, I think the internet, the having internet access everywhere is really the most important. Why? Are you nuts? What was this all about? What a jerk! What a total jerk! What was going on? I haven't looked at or have I looked at an Enderman? I'm not quite sure. Maybe I barely touched an Enderman, but what was this? Oh dear, okay, what a jerk. Yeah, so having internet everywhere is probably the most important innovation, because it really helps us to stay connected, and thanks to the internet, I'm in contact with you, and you're living on the, well, not completely opposite side of the world, but you're living across the Great Pond, and so, yeah, I think internet is one of the most important things, and having internet everywhere is even more important. And this wraps up this episode. Maybe I will come up with a different innovation that is quite important in the next episode, but if not, then I will just move on to the next question, and I hope you will be joining me in the next episode. So, thank you so much for watching. Until... Hey, sheep, that's my bed. Yeah. Go away. Alrighty then. Yeah, I hope I will see you again in the next episode. Until then, my name is Sebbi. See you! And now I can count sheep.